Black Gemara. This is Tuesday's Gemara. Omer Rabba. Rabba said, Shchibara, person who's dying. Sha'amar, he said, Mana leplain v'yadi, I have $100 belongs to that person. V'amru Yosaimim said, Paranu. Yosaimim said, we paid it up. We paid it. And then money, they believed. The father said we owe money, but the children said we did pay it. Fine. Tanu Mana leplain. But they repaid it. Yeah, Paranu, we paid it. Tanu Mana leplain, the father said, give $100 to that person. V'amru Yosaimim, and the Yosaimim said, Paranu, we paid it. Ain't no money than I believed. Does it make sense? Maduch, in the case he says, the $100 there we owe that person. And the children said, we listened and we paid. Surely if the father says pay it, surely they would have paid it. And they said we paid it. Surely you believe them. What's this for? Kalapilai, which direction are you going? The logic is fakert. If Islam said we have $100 owing to that person, but he never told them to pay, maybe they didn't. But if he said pay, of course they pay. So we changed the halacha around as follows. Omar, he said, true money. If he said, pay the money, Kivan the Paskavuan, since he told them to pay, Lemilsa Ikalamema the party. And we can say that Taka paid. Mana Leplani Biyad, if he says there's $100 owed to that person, Kivan the Loi Pasak Avuan Lemilsa, the father didn't say, go ahead and pay. He just said, by the way, there's a loan of $100 in our assets. Ikalamema the Loi party. Then we can say that he didn't pay. That's part of the question. So it should be the other way around. So what did we say? I mean, we could change the words around and just say that's what he said, but that's not what he said. There's $100 owed to that person. Then Yisaimin said, and we're adding now much more to the case. Then later on, our father reconsidered and Abba Paraiti. Then our father said, you know what? We don't owe the money. I remember now, we paid it. Their money, they believed. Because the father, they believed. But my timer, he remembered. He thought he still owed it outstanding, and he remembered. But if he said Tanu is much more decisive. If he says, pay $100 to that person, and then Omri is saying, then our father an hour later told us he thought about, no, he paid them. Ain't the money. Tanu is so decisive that he wasn't Mesupik. If he says, we owe $100, okay, he thought he owes $100. But if he says, pay, that means he's saying 100% we still owe the money. And then to tell us that he decided later that he didn't owe the money, we don't believe. Ain't no money. Because if he paid it, or even as Mesupik, he would never say the strong words Tanu. Boy, Rava asked the question, that was Maida Mahu. We know that laws that when you're Maida, and even in front of witnesses, you need to say Atin Maida. Otherwise, I was just jesting. I was playing with you. You said you owe me $100. I owe you nothing. But I'll play. Okay, I say I owe you $100. Or you have to tell them, even your witnesses, you have to tell them to record it. If you don't tell them to record it, I can still say Meshatani. I was playing with you. What about Shkibna? Does he have to say the two people standing there, you're my witnesses? Other mishatas means people still play around during misa and just humor the person. Or you ain't other mishatas means when you're dying, this is the mechajman. But so the boy had the pasha. After he asked the question, he resolved it, and that is ain't other mishata b'shas means that people don't jest when they're dying. The divrish chivera keksuvin u'mesurban. It's amazing. We learned 3 prokim all about shchimera. And the finality, I mean, the word shchimera keksuvin we had all the time, but this is where the market is. The very end of Bava Basra. Not even in the sugya of Shchimera so much, and here it is. This is the beauty of a Gemara, where you have to learn everything so that you get a picture. Otherwise, you don't never get a full picture. That's what it says in Krisis. Okay, it says the Mishnah. You lend somebody money with a kedakim and you can collect from assets that are meshabadim. Al Yid, in other words, Shtar entitles you to go to any property that he sold to somebody else. Go ahead and collect. Even if it doesn't say that I'm taking responsibility, because we learned before already, Achrai is Toy Sefer. You don't even have to record that in the Shtar. They aid him, but if you just did an oral loan in front of the witnesses, you can only collect directly from the borrower and not from any of the assets that he sold because of the Kuch Abasunsi one. He produces an IOU. You can only collect directly from the borrower and all of the assets that he owns, but you cannot go to any buyer because how in the world would they have known of these loans? It's an IOU. There's no coil or nothing. If an Orev signed, if a guarantor signed after the shtar already was sealed, in other words, there was a shtar document, and then the Eidim signed, and then underneath that, suddenly you have an Orev's name pop up, which means the Eidim didn't sign on behalf of the Orev. Now, the Orev could have been there from the beginning. The Orev could have come in later. But because the Arif is not part of the document, means that the person who lent the money did not lend it because of the Arif. That Hano that we talked about, Abashi talked about, that the only reason why you lent the money because of me, because it would have been only because of me, you would have put me incorporated me into the essence of the doctrine. By being I'm not just an afterthought, So then I'm not committed at all. So this Arif means like this. Is you can go to the Arif, and the fact is he put his name down, so you can go to the Arif. But if the Arif loses his fee, whatever it is, and he now goes back to the borrower, you owe me money, he cannot go to any of the borrower's field that he unsold. You can only go directly to the borrower and say, look, I paid your loan, pay me back, and that's it. He cannot go to the Mishabadim. Because it's his part, the other's part is like a milvafeh, because he's not part of the shtar. And he paid off the loan. It's true, the borrower now owes him the money, but it's a milvafeh. That's all it is. Yeah, and then from the audit can then only go to the of the labor. Yeah. That's what he said. So all the bananas. The Arab is out of the picture. Leave the Arab out of the picture. The Arab does not even have to pay from his cash or from whatever it is the Chazion. Why not? He was there. He's on the star. Amalei Lama. So what's the logic in that? The fact is he's there. Amalei, let me ask you a question. Somebody strangling someone in the middle of the street. And his friend finds him. Let him be. Let him be, and I will give you $1,000. He lets him go. Potter. And then he refused to pay. The guy taking him 30, he promised $1,000 Potter. Why? I didn't do this in order to give you money. I just did it in order that he should be saved. And and sending it out of here. This Arif, you lent money to the borrower because of the Arif. He's not part of the document. You will get to lend money anyway to the labor, regardless of the other was there or not. He just put him down in the document afterwards. So therefore, why is he? What is his commitment? Why does he owe money? Just like in the case of the guy who was strangled, the guy who strangles you, the guy says, "I'll give you $1,000." Why? He just said it to save the guy's life. There's no commitment here. Same thing over here. Since you gave the money to the lender, to the borrower, without the other being part of the whole transaction, the other was signed only afterwards. There's no commitment there. So when is not to be responsible? He'll pay and he knows the Arab says, lend the guy the money and I'll repay you. You lent the money because of the credibility of the Arab. Oh, then the Arab is involved. After that. If somebody wants to become smart, you should learn dine mamanis. There's no other category in the Torah. That's greater than the laws of dinim amanis. The hen kemayin hanaveh, it constantly flows, always new cases, new dinim expands. But if you really want to know dinim amanis, you should learn by Shimon Bananas and serve him and get some shimish for him. Because Rabbi Shmuel himself realized that he was wrong. You're going to say that the Arif has to pay for the from this, and then the Arif is going to pay from the Leiv and Milapet. There's no Arif here. Finished. Whether it's oral or whether it's on the start, you always pay from encumbered assets. My time, why shibud the raisa? Why? Because shibud is mahatayda. In other words, when you borrow money, there's not only a chiv on the person, there's also a chiv on the properties, either directly on the properties or via the person, but there's a chiv on the properties as well. So why why is an oral loan and you go why go oral loan, can't you go to the shibudim? If Ma'atayda, every loan automatically commits all your assets, so you sold somebody else, why can't the Malva go Ma'atayda and collect it even though it's a milvapeh? Says it's not fair for the Lukuchas because they didn't know. It's a milvapeh, nobody really knows. Remember, we keep loans discreetly. So they didn't know to be protected. If we're not going to protect the Lukuchas, nobody will ever buy a property again. The whole commercial world will collapse. The whole property sector will collapse. So Mubishal is protect the Lukuchas as well. No, they could have done the homework, they would have found out. But Rabbi says disagrees. He said, there's no shibun on properties. There's only There's a big machlekes rishonim. If you hold shibud lav deraisa, at least is there a shibud on the properties of the leiv himself? Or do we say there's no shibud at all on properties, only on the person? Some of the Rishonim say that the shibud lav da'isa means there's no shibud on anything but the person, and the Rabbanon say that you have to pay the properties. Others say that you should face it in. Others that shibud lav da'isa means that once you sell the property, the shibud doesn't carry on. But Kozman is sitting in the reshus of the borrower. The shibud is directly on the property itself. And the question then is, Faces and Babmatzi asked the question a little bit here, but they're mainly there. So how you ever have moitzah b'mixes of taina? If you hold shibud deraisa, or even if you hold shibud lav deraisa, if the leiva owns properties, that means that every loan is involved with karka. So when you're moitzah b'mixes, you have to swear that the leiva has to swear, I don't know, you more than $50. He's swearing that I don't have to give you more property. And we have a rule, einish boin ala karkois, you never swear property. So how do you ever have moitzah b'mixes? And it's amazing. Toisa says the only time you swear moitzah b'mixes if you have no properties. You imagine? So you learn a din in Kol HaDayr called Moed mixes everywhere, and something comes along and takes it and pigeonholes it to a case where a guy has no properties or he's Meichel Shibud in the property and so on. Interesting. Anyway, interesting. So if you will have the rice, so why can you collect the chashibadim? That's the takon zachamim. Nobody will lend money anymore. If you can't give me security, why would I lend you money? So why would people lend money orally? Awesome, less late color. There, because there's no coal, we have to balance. We have to balance. You know, if there's no coil and the person will buyers out there will lose out because there's no coil. So we make a balance. That in the middle of the start, if the Malba very worried about security, he would have to put in documented. If he's prepared to lend money or limit, he's not so worried about security. Because we have the cause of something that when it's oral loan, you cannot go to the Chasim Shabbat to protect the Lukuchas. So it's your choice. You, the lender, choose. And if you're happy to do Novaper, fine. Said you want say that. You tell me if let's say the children collect a loan from their father, somebody owes money, the children are not chayav to pay the debts of the father unless there was property there. So there's a shibud to the lender. So the lender already, as if it's paid, already connected. But if there's no property, only cash in the banks and shares and everything else, then once the father dies, they don't have to pay the loan. The lender has no reach to it. But what happens if somebody pays back to the children a loan that they owe to their father? So if they pay back with karka, that means as if the father already collected the karka. So then we're talking there about a B'chai, for example. The B'chai will get double portion of that karka because if the father already had it when he was alive. Remember, B'chai only gets double portion the muhzik and not bero. But if the Gobel Mois, if they collected from that lender only money was only row, and the B'chai does not get double portion. Why should there be a difference between karka and money? Because she buddha the raisa, and that's what Rabbi says. How can you tell me she will love the raisa when you make that distinction between karka and money for your mother? Oh my Rabbi, Gobu karka, the father, the children collected on behalf of the father, karka the yeshle, the b'chai gets double portion. Gobu moi collected money, ain't doesn't get double portion. What's going on here? B'chitemi, you'll tell me efuch. You're right. Swap around the names. The Rabbi is the one who holds that shibud the raisa, and Ula is the one who holds shibud lav the raisa. Udul Rabbi, Amar Ula said about Toida, Toida Bal Chayv. Din is what Uda said. Toida Bal Chayv. The title to Zabudius. It's only in the Rabbanon we say up to obeying this, so that people should be happy to lend money. The fact that he said Toida is Zabudius, that means you have a right to collect karka. Toida, clear. Ella Rabba time of the Rabba Kamal Rabba holds love that I said. This that he said about Bechor getting double portion is explaining the view of the people in Beth Yisrael, the ones who said that didn't. He doesn't hold to that at all. However, Rabba Shmuel, that's Machlekes Rabba Shmuel Mitabayu Milva Pe Einu Geivel Loimena Yoshim Belenko. Milva you never collect, even from Yoshi you don't collect. That's what we mentioned before the Rabba Shmuel. My timer Shibud love that I said. Since Shibud love that I said, why should the Yoshim have to pay it? So it's only a mitzvah you don't pay. Rabbi Yechon Shloki said, "Tabai milva goyim milva pay you collect from the yoshim and from the kuchas. You collect from everybody, even milva pay. Why? Shibud the rice. And then we just mentioned before, but there's a special takon zachamim you don't take for the kuchas to help them out. Continue tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem, and we'll finish Bava Basra tomorrow. It's only 1 Amud, and then we'll do.